Oh, hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the virtual Black Tuesday release party. So tonight we're gonna have a really great time. Really excited for all of this. Tonight it's hosted by myself and, of course, everybody's favorite Jeremy Grinke, aka Sour Jesus. So we got Jeremy. Where the hell's Jeremy? Okay, 1 second, guys. I'm sorry. We're a little bit unprepared. Oh, I'm getting a FaceTime. Give me a second, guys. He's calling. He's calling. I think he. There you are. Hey, that was quite an entrance, my friend. Wow.
Oh, man, I tell you.
You late night, huh? Kind of busy in the with the barrels tonight.
I tell you, it was a rough day of slinging barrels and packing beer, but now I'm here.
I'm glad you're here. I'm glad everyone's here. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in tonight. Really excited. It's a huge time of the year for us here at the brewery. Black Tuesday, the Black Tuesday virtual release party. So if you don't know, usually we throw a big celebration on this Tuesday to celebrate the release of the beer. So we put off some special one-off beers. Everybody dresses up. We have a really great time. And so this year, obviously, can't really do that. So we decided to take this thing online, and here we are. So we're going to have a fun night. We have a lot of stuff loaded up for you guys, just like that. We're going to talk beer. We're going to answer questions. We're going to bring in a bunch of guests. And most of all, we're just going to have some fun and try to bring the party online. So, I mean, what are your thoughts, Jeremy? How are you doing, man? What's going on in your world?
I tell you, Daniel, there's a lot going on in my world. Black Tuesday is big. Black Tuesday is October, end of the month, but a lot of work went into this year. I'm showing up to this party like I do every Black Tuesday party in my Sour Jesus costume. Hopefully, you all recognize me. But big month and a lot of beers. So we had Black Tuesday, obviously the beer that started it all, 4 variants for the Black Tuesday box. And then we had the virtual box as well, 3 beers there. And looking forward to talking about all those beers, tasting some of those beers, as many as my body can allow me to taste. And just happy to hang out with our classic member group and spill some beers with them.
Cool, man. I'm also really excited for that. But let's what do you say we get this party started? So first things first, we're going to bring on some guests that if you've ever been to the brewery or the Bruery DC, probably seen some of these faces. So first up, we're going to bring in Ethan, who he'll introduce himself right now. And then we have Ben and Brett from our tasting rooms. But let's get some more faces on screen. Val, work your magic. Hey, what's up, Ethan? How's it going, dude?
What's up, guys? How's it going?
How's it going?
Good.
Ben,
Nice.
what's up, guys? Cool. So why don't we do a little round table? Let's introduce ourselves. I'm sure everybody who lives on the East Coast and is a brewery fan probably knows this guy. But for those who don't, Ethan, who are you? What do you do? What's going on, man?
Yeah, so I'm the manager over here at the brewery store in DC. And we're a small team over here, but we kick ass. We take care of all the DC-based society members, and that doesn't mean just DC, Maryland, and Virginia, but we get all the folks coming down from PA, from New Jersey. We have members up in Michigan that stop in. We have folks coming up from Alabama. So really, it's anybody on the east side of the U.S. That's a member kind of comes through DC. So it's a bummer to not have this in-person kind of congregation that we've had in the past. But this virtual thing is cool too. And a shout out to all you DC members. Looking forward to seeing you guys soon.
Nice, man. That is awesome. So let's move back to the West Coast. Ben, Brett, introduce yourselves. Kind of newer faces here at the brewery, but mainstays at the tasting rooms right now. Who are you guys? What do you do? What are you excited for tonight?
Yeah, for sure. What's up, guys? I'm Ben, manager over here of the tasting rooms, both our Terreux location and the old school Bruery Dunn location, as well as the Society Fulfillment Center. This is my first Black Tuesday party working here, so super excited to be a part of it. Excited to see all you guys come on into the tasting room. We take care of pretty much everyone on the West Coast and all the way into the middle, and that's what I'm doing.
Brett Griswold, my first Black Tuesday event also. They got me a lead over at the Dunn location, Placentia. So, I'm just trying to sling beers to everybody showing up, show people new things, just kind of give people, be the hand that helps them kind of try new beers, especially some of our fancy Black Tuesday stuff.
Awesome.
Hey, Ben, you mentioned this is your first Black Tuesday party working. So have you been to Black Tuesday party before as a guest?
I have not been as a guest. I've had my own personal Black Tuesday party once or twice.
Right on.
Trying to finish a bottle myself did not go well, or maybe it did. Yeah. I don't remember.
Well, before we get into what's happening at DC and in the tasting rooms, what's everybody drinking? Post in the comments what you're opening right now. Let's all give a little toast. Kick off Black Tuesday in a Black Tuesday way. Jeremy, what do you got? What are you ripping right now?
Well, I think it's only fair that I start the night with the classic. So I got this year's vintage of Black Tuesday. So just pure stout and bourbon barrel, and it's drinking fantastic.
Awesome, Ethan. What's that, dude? You look like you're getting a nose full. What's going on over there, man?
I'm following JG's lead right there. This is my first taste of 2020 right here. It's smelling really nice.
Nice, Ben and Brett.
We're following the trend, man. We got that BT20 going right now.
Awesome. Well, cheers, everybody. Let us know what you're drinking in the comments. I'm sorry, Dave's a little disappointed that only Ben's dressed up. Jimmy and I are going to be on this thing for like 3 hours, so we wanted to be a little comfy. Not in our best, but it's going to be fun.
Well, we got all this new BT merch.
Look at all the merch. Come on, dude. All right, so let's get into it. Ethan, why don't you kind of give us a rundown? What did you guys do in DC for members? I know there was some special stuff for BT. What do you got going on in the immediate future? Anything fun happening? What's popping over there in DC?
Yeah, so all month long, we've been bringing in some of the past BT variants that have kind of been tucked away at the warehouse. Last week, we received all the new October releases, including all the BT, including all the fourth quarter Preservation Society packages. So any members out there that are listening, yes, we have your beer here at the shop. Come on and get it. Last night, we received all the new Black Tuesday merch. So we do have that available. That's kind of what it's been looking like. We don't usually open up on Tuesdays. We did open the store up today. It was very, very steady all day long. A lot of people picking up Black Tuesday, a lot of members stopping in, picking up beers. And so we're going to carry that through the rest of the week, take a bit of a pause tomorrow, open up on Thursday, and then kind of carry it through the weekend. So, we have a couple guest sales coming up. So check out our events page for that. And then, we got November beers coming right around the corner.
They're coming up here pretty quickly. Yeah. Man, yeah, thanks for the update. Lots of fun stuff going on the East Coast. So if you haven't purchased Black Tuesday yet, if you're a member and you want some of the new treatments, you can order online. You can go to the shop. We have pickup options in DC, and they're all available. I think and like Ethan said, there's a pretty cool archive sale going on right now for members. But what's happening over there at the tasting rooms? Ben, Brett, tell us what you got going on, man. There's a lot going on over there. I know there's some live music tonight. I was over there earlier. It sounded good.
There is. And, I tried to be the live music, and I don't know, it didn't go so well. I don't have Jim's skills there. Yeah, we got live music at both tasting rooms right now till 9 o'clock. We got food trucks, some ramen over at Dunn. We got some poke going on, sushi over at Terreux. I might have tried both, pretty bomb. I got Black Tuesday coming out of my ears at both locations. We got, the new 20, we got the 19. We got 17 bottles in. We have all sorts of different variants. We got the new Black Tuesday merch. So come get your sweatshirt, your beanie, your shirt. We got the mask coming in. We got it all for you guys. So come on down and pick that up from us, please. We also are open on Tuesdays. Started this month. We were doing Monday, Tuesday to go, but now we're open both locations Tuesday through Sunday. Friday and Saturday for new party animals. We're open till midnight area, and we have indoor seating with limited capacity. Still keeping it safe, but bringing everyone indoors. So anyone that didn't know, come have a beer with us. And right now we have a full of Black Tuesday and draft, which right here is going to
Yeah, I mean,
all about.
My favorite one right now is the port, the BT port. That's filler, man. It's so good. Like, we're trying to stop the employees from drinking it, so some of our guests can try some. Also, blueberry pancake got brought back. That's a big fan favorite. People were talking last time how we did it with the ice cream. We had the ice cream guys come in and make ice cream. Yeah, man. I mean, the port though. I keep going back to that one, but again, we have lots of BT20 for sale in public. We are limiting the public sales 9 bottles and 2 cans per person. So come in and get some before it runs out.
Nice.
Also throughout there we have Spicy Island, limited supply, so come get some all you can. My personal favorite, want a piece of me, still on that way. So.
Nice. I think one of the really fun things we're doing, like you guys mentioned, is we have some party beers. So usually we do some small one-offs just for our party. This year, no party, but we still decided to put a few special non-packaged, so draft-only options in the tasting rooms. Off the top of my head, I think, what is it? Caramel Bonbon, Cafe de Vida. Yeah, some really fun stuff. So if you haven't gone into the tasting rooms recently, now's a good time to check it out. We're open, and there's some stuff you can't find anywhere else. So really awesome stuff. Yeah. Anything else you guys want to get off your chests right now, or we're gonna keep this party going? We got a lot of faces coming on, and I know everybody's got to go to work tomorrow, so we will keep this thing moving. Yeah. Last chance, or we're kicking you off.
We're good, man.
We're good. We're here till 10 o'clock tonight. Socially distanced, safe party. Come on down, have a beer with us.
Nice. Cool. Well, thanks for coming on, guys.
Cheers, guys.
It's great talking to you. Well, let's keep going. I think Ethan's staying on, right? Ethan's going to talk some more beers.
I'm hanging out.
Ethan's staying on. So
still at work.
Yeah, he's still there. So next up, I think we have a little bit of some history. So we shot a lot of stuff before. We wanted to make this kind of interactive, fun, educational. So I think we might be waiting for somebody, but I don't think they're in. So let's keep moving. Next up, we're gonna have Patrick Bruery, founder, tell you guys a little bit about where Black Tuesday came from, the history of Black Tuesday. Val, cue it up. Let's do it.
Black Tuesday started off with just a bunch of grain that I needed to use. So it was kind of a kitchen sink beer. I think we put 3,500 pounds in our mash tun, and I think 2,800 is about the max of what it should have been. So it's to the brim. It's centimeters from overflowing. We're about 12 hours in, tried to make a second Runnings beer. We collect about 7 barrels of that, and then the mash sticks. The whole thing is still full, centimeter from the top, and nothing, like not a drop of liquid's going to come through. So we just put these 55-gallon bins underneath, open up this valve, stuff starts flowing. I think on our second bin, the valve won't close, so pretty much the whole thing empties itself. I was really upset that day brewing Black Tuesday, just mentally shot, physically shot, but the sacrifice was definitely worth it.
Dude, that was awesome.
Oh,
like
sorry.
that.
Oh,
Sorry.
That
I
was
was,
nice.
yeah.
man, sorry.
Awesome.
I was rocking.
All right,
Wow.
so let's get into it. We're going to start talking beers. First up, obviously, we're going to talk about Black Tuesday, no treatments, straight Black Tuesday, the classic. Let's bring on some more faces. I'm getting a text message right now from my friend Darren. Darren said he wants to come on and talk Black Tuesday. Darren, oh, hey, what's up, Darren? How's it going? How's it going, dude? What are you up to? Introduce
Good. Hey, everybody.
Yeah, tell us who you are, and then we'll bring on another friendly face.
Yeah, for those that don't know me, my name is Darren Moser. I'm VP Operations at the brewery currently, and it's a pleasure to be here tonight. You know, it's a damn shame that we can't be doing what we'd normally be doing with a speakeasy and you know, some barrels to look at, but I think that this evening is going to be the next best thing. We have some great beers in front of us tonight.
Awesome, man. So great to see you. Really excited to start talking beer, but I got another friend sending me a text. It sounds like Keith wants to come on and talk beer. Oh, hey, there you are, dude. Hey, what's up, Keith?
How you
How's
doing?
it going, man? Why don't you, I mean, everybody knows you. I know you're a famous guy over there at Terreux. Why don't you give us a little, tell us who you are for those who don't know Keith.
Yeah, so I'm Keith. I'm a production manager over at Terreux, the wild and sour side, but we all work really closely as a team, so we all kind of got our hands in a little bit of everything at the brewery. Kind of upsetting. This would have been my 6th Black Tuesday party that I attended, so it is kind of frustrating to not be able to see everybody there and drink beers, you know, in the cellar and really have a good time. But here we are, we're making the best. It's probably going to be the best part of 2020 right here.
This is for sure the best part of my 2020.
Hey, cheers to that, Keith.
Yeah, cheers, guys. So we wanted to do something kind of fun on this one and do something a little different. So we called up 2 longtime Hoarders members, and they're regulars at the brewery. They've been around as Hoarders longer than maybe some of us have been here as employees at the brewery. So I'd like to bring on a couple really some of our biggest fans, I'd say, and some of our biggest advocates, good friends of the brewery, Brian Natmiller, Ian, 2 longtime Hoarders. They're gonna come on right now. What's up, guys? They're gonna come on.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk a little bit about some Black Tuesday, the OG Black Tuesday. But first and foremost, why don't we start off, Brian? Who are you? How long you been a member? And maybe give us a early memory of Black Tuesday. What do you love about the beer?
Yeah, man. I'm Brian, and I'm the guy that drinks the beer you guys make. It's I actually had to look it up today because I couldn't remember how long I've been a member. And the earliest emails I found of me buying stuff went back to 2011. And so I'm pretty sure it looks like I've been a society member since 2011. But I distinctly remember my first Black Tuesday. Because I feel like any good self-respecting beer geek, you remember those moments where you try a beer that sort of opens a new chapter for you, like your beer journey. And, you know, I had been a beer dork for a while, and I, 2010-ish, started hearing about Black Tuesday and his barrel-aged stout. It's almost 20% that you got to try. And finally, late 2010, early 2011, sometime in there, I finally got my hands on a bottle. And I had another beer buddy over, and I was like, "I'll crack this open. We'll see what this is cracked up to be, what all the hype is about." And I remember pouring my beer, pouring his beer. My buddy's telling me some story. I take a sip before him. I remember the first sip I had, my first thought was, why am I sharing this beer with that guy? This beer is so good. Like, I would have found a way to drink this myself if I knew, but now he already has half the bottle in his glass. Like, it was definitely a moment where I realized the hype was real. And at that moment, I was like, I got to get more and got to learn more what the brewery's all about.
Really uncomfortable.
That's awesome, man. That's a great memory. Yeah, thanks for coming on. We're excited to talk beer with a member.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure. So next up, and this is actually pretty wild. So Ian, another longtime member. I feel like, and I might be completely wrong, but I feel like I've seen you at East Coast events and at West Coast events. What's going on, man? Like,
yeah,
I've seen you all over the country.
Yeah, I mean, I used to make it out probably like 3 or 4 times a year out to California, so you'd see me out there quite a bit. I live here in Virginia, so you'll see me at any DC event for sure. But yeah, as often as I can get out there, I get out there. Unfortunately, not in 2020, but this is the longest I've gone without making a visit to the tasting room, which is kind of a bummer.
For sure. Why don't you? I mean, can you give us a? Do you remember your first Black Tuesday? It seems like a pretty prominent memory.
I mean, it was another one like what Brian was saying. I had to kind of go through all my emails and my receipts to try to remember when it was. I wasn't a member as long as Brian, so I think it goes back to either 2012 or 13. I wasn't a member yet, but I remember coming into the tasting room, and it might have been during like a can drive or some sort of holiday theme thing where I probably had to do something to get a taster, and I wasn't a member. It was a mythical beer to me at that point. I'd never had it, but heard about it. Got my little tiny 2 or 3 ounce pour, and it was definitely a different experience than anything I've ever had before at that moment. It was something that sort of led me down the road to eventually joining up and being a member for as long as I've been.
Yep.
Well, Ian, you actually your account celebrates its 7th anniversary tomorrow. So,
oh wow!
Happy anniversary!
I think I set that account up specifically to buy the public sale bottles back in 2012 or 13. Maybe 13. It sounds like, yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Always good to see you out at the events, man.
Yeah, and try to make it to all of them, of course. I'm sad to be not doing this in DC this year because it was so much fun last year. Very cool spot that we had last year, and just sitting in my backyard drinking all these variants today. Enjoying
what do you got now?
I'm on the double vanilla right now. It's
nice.
been my favorite of the night for sure.
Yeah, I'm drinking the vanilla as well. It's just a fantastic beer. I've always been a big Bruery fan, and this year's is just this double vanilla is amazing.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, Ian, it's good to see you on here. Thanks for joining us. I think you're one of those guys that I take a path, a little walk through the tasting room, and I see you there, and then 2 weeks later I'm in a bar in DC and I see you there, and then I think I've seen you in Chicago as well. I've seen you all over the place. So great to see you on TV too.
Good to see you, Jeremy. I'm excited that I'm out there.
All right, guys, let's do this. So we got a lot of Black Tuesday to talk about tonight, but let's start off with the regular Black Tuesday bourbon barrel-aged imperial stout. Amazing. I mean, Jeremy and I just tasted this earlier today at the tasting room. I think it's an amazing beer. I mean, there's for the ABV, the heat this year, there's just like no heat perception on it at all. I think it's pretty fantastic. But I didn't make the beer. I want to hear from the guys who made the beer. Darren, Jeremy, give us a little. Why don't you just give us a little run through, man?
Let me start that off, and Daniel and I were having that discussion in the tasting room, and as a matter of fact, Barry, our CEO, is there as well. Shout out Barry. How you doing, bud? We're tasting it, and we tasted a couple of the tasting room only variants that are in there right now that you guys should go check out. But I was like, hey, let's taste the base beer because I think it's really something special this year. Not that it's not special every year, but there's something that struck me this morning when I was actually tasting it with Darren and our lab team about really how round the flavor is and that it lacks that perception of heat that Black Tuesday usually carries, and especially on the younger side, it carries a little bit of extra heat and kind of mellows down over time. But I think this year, to me, felt a little void of that initial freshness. And by freshness, I don't mean it's not fresh. I mean it has. It seems round. It seems like it's got a little bit of upfront complexity to it. So I just wanted to say that because that's how I feel about it. And I wanted to kick it over to Darren, and Darren's worked really hard on this beer in the 4 years he's been with the brewery, and I feel like we've turned another corner, if that's even possible.
Yeah, thank you, Jeremy. I think for me, and I'll just kind of take a step back and speak to that for a second. So I've been making different beers for a long time at a couple of different places, but when I came on with the brewery, like, one of the things that I was excited about was to learn, the portfolio here at the brewery is, it's intense. for brewers and consumers. And I think that something like Black Tuesday is a little bit of the culmination of really, when we talk about that art and science of brewing, there's a lot that goes into this beer. And we heard that bit that Patrick kind of put together about the first time Black Tuesday was brewed, and that really captures really the art of craft brewing, where you're exploring and you're trying something new, and you end up with something that at that time was absolutely remarkable, and it put the brewery on the map in a lot of ways. And so you fast forward 8 years later, and I'm coming into the brewery and learning about what we do here, and some things I don't want to say are easy, but some things translate from beer to beer pretty easily. But it fascinated me, and it was something I had to learn about. And the brewery was also going through some changes in terms of equipment and methods, and it was obvious to me that Black Tuesday, even though not a volume driver, it is a part of the heart and soul of the brewery. This is something that we celebrate every year. We release it in different forms at different times of the year for different variants. But the base Black Tuesday is what it's all about. And I think as a technical brewer, I get excited because we really dove into the fact that this is not a normal fermentation. We're talking about a 17% beer before it goes into wood aging, where it receives some fortification from the barrel, which is what drives it up to the 18.8, 19.2%. You have some variability there for blending. And this is really a beer that it is designed for barrel aging. We're not talking about a beer that a brewer, likes, and then they throw into a barrel to see what happens, see if it comes out better. This is a beer that we focus on from a consistency perspective. And, so if we go back, Jeremy, and we kind of had some of these conversations a few years ago as we were getting to know each other about, what did we think this beer really needed to continue its own legacy, if you will. And I think what excites me about what we're seeing in 2018, 2019, and 2020 is changes or tweaks, massaging, if you will, to recipe and technique. They take a year and a half to actually come to fruition after we come out of aging. And I think if we focus on 2020, that lack of heat, that smoothness, that deep chocolate, that beautiful, like dark, rounded color, and dare I say it, even a tiny bit of foam stability, which is few and far between on barrel aged beers. I think 2020 is capturing a lot of that work that we did over that period of time. And it's sure there's some technical tweaks in there, but it's all driven with a lot of passion around Black Tuesday. I mean, this is always going to be in limited volume, but it is. There's nothing else like it. There really isn't anything else like it. So.
Yeah, I think Darren hit something there. Daniel, take note. New tagline, designed for the barrel, and I think that's very much true, and that's a way to look at it, and something we may talk about later with barrel aging, but. It is so often that you like a beer and you're like, it'll be better in a barrel. I like it so much as it is. I'll put it in the barrel. It'll get better. I can tell you firsthand, and I think all of us at the brewery here that taste this beer from fermenter, that this beer is not ready to drink out of a fermenter. It's just not. It is designed for a barrel. So good point there. Didn't mean to cut you off, Ethan. Let's hear what you got.
No, I got a question for you guys, actually. So going back to my time being in production and talking about, Patrick, sweating that mash, where it was, where he's talking about, that the water level or the level of the mash being within a centimeter of that, that manway on the mash tun. I remember that being a pretty challenging thing to like balance that and getting a good runoff in brewing a good Black Tuesday. We've since upgraded our brew system since then. We've made tweaks along the way. What are you guys seeing as the current challenge with this beer?
Yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, and obviously when Patrick references those first brews, I didn't experience the old brew house. We have brewers, and I think Ethan, you're one of them that did work on the first gen brew house, and the brew house that we have now, it's not, it's very nice. It's a good system. But make no mistake about it, it isn't tailored to making beers like Black Tuesday. It's really not. So I think the challenge is sometimes, and this is a challenge with any beer, you do have to tailor what your capabilities and your recipe to the equipment you have to work with. And sometimes I see a lot of these like posts on social media or videos. I don't necessarily think that packing a mash tun to the point that you have exorbitant waste is something to brag about. I think it's a learning experience. I think Patrick would agree, and I think that what we've had to do with Black Tuesday is tailor the recipe to get it to run on the current brew house, and we do that. Yeah. Now that being said, it becomes a scheduling challenge. So when we want to brew Black Tuesday, you're talking about chewing up 60 to 70% of a brew week, with staff. It takes quite a bit to get those brews through to make it make sense. So it is something that has to be scheduled around, and we brew a decent amount of Black Tuesday. I mean, we really do, because it doesn't only go into this release. We're talking about different beers this evening. It goes into it's a component of a lot of our beers.
Nice. I do have a second question for the members. Sorry, Keith, but go ahead. I'm not.
No, I was just gonna say one of the fun challenges is deciding what barrel to put it in. So that's one of the good fun problems. We do have a bunch of different barrel variants.
Why don't let's keep this moving. Let's get some straight tasting notes on this year's. I think most of us are drinking this year's 2020 Black Tuesday, non-adjuncted, bourbon barrel aged. What are we getting on this? Why don't we start with, if you're not already sipping on it, let's start with Jeremy. Looks like he has a lot to say. He looks very pensive right now. He's got something on his mind.
No, I mean, I always have a lot on my mind
about the beer.
It's getting the filter to work, so I don't say too much. As we all know, less is more sometimes. But this is not a beer that delivers less. This is a big beer. So there's obviously a lot of spirit on the nose, bourbon. I'm getting actually a little bit of smoke too, which I think is.
I get that.
Yeah. So there's some tricks going on there too as well, and that comes from blending and from pulling out what we thought were outlying barrels that maybe in a final blend would actually lend a little bit of nuance to the beer. I think one of the big things that stands out to me, and I know I already said it, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but there's a lot of finesse to this year's beer. And I know that a lot of us out there that drink Black Tuesday and drink it every year would probably find that word a little bit strange to use it as a descriptor. But there is this roundness to it. There's this drinkability to it. And I'll just say right now, I've already drank a glass of it. So that's 8 ounces and from a can. It's going to be another 8 ounces going down, and then some variants going down. So this might be as clear as I speak for the rest of the night.
Cool. Let's hear from, I don't want to put you on the spot, Brian, but we did bring you guys on to talk about the beer. Yeah. What are you thinking about this year's vintage?
I'll be honest. I haven't tried this year's vintage. I'm drinking the vanilla right now. The double. Look, you called it the party pack for a reason. Tonight's the party, and I'm drinking a party pack beer.
You're spot on, dude. I
go through my Untapped, and I probably had 20, 30 different variants of BT over the years, and I think what I mean, some of the things that I've always loved about it is the fact that for a high ABV beer, it's ridiculously smooth. You know, it's like the alcohol burn just seems so minimal and very mellow. And I find that, like, you know, for me personally, I'm a guy who's got a big beer cellar that, like, a year or two of age on these suckers, and I think they just become like liquid gold in your mouth. Like, they're just amazing. For me, it's like those subtle sort of malt and caramel notes, a little bit of vanilla, you know, with that sort of just like nice sort of sweetness. Like, I actually can tell there's a certain, I don't know if it's the malt bill, if it's the yeast, but Black Tuesday sort of has its own special kind of you know, unique flavor that you don't get from other just straight bourbon barrel aged stouts. It's like it really is its own unique beast that just sort of has its own quality that I personally love.
That's awesome, man. I agree. It's a pretty unique beer. I kind of want to also hear Ian, man. I know you're not one who's shy to talk about what you think about beers. Have you tried this year's straight variant, no variant added? Have you tried the straight BT?
Yeah, we started the night with that. I think that I find myself every year saying, like, the last 3 years that it seems to be the easiest drinking I've had in many, many years, where this year, last year, and the year before, I feel like it's just ready to drink right off the bat. Jeremy mentioned the smoke, which was interesting to me because my first sip, and I thought my palate was playing tricks on me, but I was getting like a nuttiness, but I can kind of see where what I was tasting might have been in that same vein as something smoky. There was something not the usual flavor that I get, and it might have been a temperature issue, but yeah, I found that this year's was pretty easy to drink. Reminded me of last year's, sort of just ready to go out of the gate. We just drank last year's cans 2 nights ago, and that seemed incredibly just tame and mellow compared to what a fresh can tastes like, which is what I would expect, I guess. But yeah, really enjoyed it. Working on Love at Midnight right now, so I kind of agree with Brian about working our way through the virtual pack. So
yeah,
it's a party.
Yeah. It is a party. Again, you called it a party pack.
Yeah. All right. So let's keep this thing moving. Our producer Val seemed to be hinting at me that we need to keep moving. There was a question up at the bottom for like 20 minutes right now. So this is the time. If you have questions, throw your questions into the comments on Facebook or YouTube. Comment them on Instagram, wherever you want to throw them. We'll try to find them. But let's start answering some questions. So first up, David Sopka. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that was pretty good. Does the recipe for Black Tuesday undergo any substantive changes from year to year, or is it mostly the same ingredients, proportions, and processes? I like the alliteration. I like the question. Who wants to tackle this one? I feel like this is a good Darren question. He has a look on his face where he's kind of telling me like, "Oh yeah, I appreciate that question."
Yeah, well, sure, and I do. I can tell you, you know, we're always this is kind of I'm going to start out with the cop-out answer. We're always making small tweaks. I mean, that's what we do. We're an experimental brewery. We're an innovative brewery. You know, we don't necessarily stand on principle. We never have, in terms of like, this is the recipe we're sticking to it. But any changes that we make are in the spirit of really trying to drive for perfection. Not only from, you know, what we think as brewers, you know, we're brewers, we're beer drinkers, but you know, we do depend on member feedback. We do depend on customer feedback. You know, we respond to that. And the nature, you know, I mentioned it earlier, the nature of some of our beers is sometimes that response isn't heard for a year or a year and a half or 2 years, you know, or not heard, but I should say rather recognized that we've heard it. So as far as Black Tuesday specifically, we've not made any major changes from 2019 to 2020 release. It's really been about consistency. We were really happy with some of the changes that were made in 2017 going into the 2018 reflection of what was coming out of barrel. We kind of doubled down on some of those tweaks, and we made a couple of other changes from 2018 into 2019. and that's why I say 2019 and 2020 are really the reflection of a lot of that work that was done at that period of time, and I think we're seeing it in the tasting notes. The other thing that I would probably point out in terms of change, and I think Keith brought it up, and I've seen it mentioned in the comments in terms of barrel selection. So make no mistake about it, the beer is not done at the end of fermentation, and that's where we have driven a real. The brewery's always been focused on barrel selection and what we want out of a barrel. Patrick drove that culture and provided a lot of education to a lot of people on what happens during barrel aging, how we want to store our barrels, what we want to do with them, and Jeremy and others have just had doubled down on that, and we've only gotten more particular about the barrels that this beer goes into, and that's really it's a lot of what we're tasting today. So Jeremy, I don't know if you want to add anything to that, but that's it. It does deserve tweaks, but we're not talking major changes. We're really talking about focus.
Yeah, no, I think we'll get into some of the barrel stuff later, but diversity is a big thing that we've been driving over the last couple of years. Diversity in our blending pile, if you will. Having the tools to be able to craft exactly what we want. And then I also think that, quite honestly, we enjoy with these beers even more so than the rest of our core beers that, like Darren said, we do tweak when we feel like we need to. On these beers, we enjoy the luxury of vintaging. We enjoy the ability to say that 2020 Black Tuesday stands by itself. You can rate it against 2019 and the best Black Tuesdays of the past. Whether you believe it's 2009, 2012, or 14. All those I've heard are people's favorites, and I'm pretty proud of what we produce as a team. And vintage is a luxury when you use it the right way, and it's also an escape hatch if you need it as well. Sometimes things don't turn out quite the way you want them to do. I want them to be, and I think if anybody knows that about the brewery, that we hit home runs and that we strike out every once in a while. Not to use baseball puns while I'm watching the Dodger game over here in the corner.
We're giving the updates.
Can't say Dodgers, right?
We have the LA.
I actually can say that. But we enjoy that luxury, and I think our members understand that about us. That we are going to over deliver on a lot of occasions, and every once in a while we're going to trip. But that's the beauty of our relationship, I think, with our membership.
Awesome. All right, I got to keep this thing moving. I got one hot hitting question. I'm going to randomly pick someone to answer, no pressure. And then Brian has a question, and then we're moving on. So first up, and I'm going to reframe this a little bit so the question is there any downside to aging BT cans versus bottles? Interesting question, but I'd rather reframe it a little bit as to what's your take on cans versus bottles? What would you age? What would you what would you drink now? Why? And yeah, no pressure on this one. I think that
you can shotgun a can. You can't shotgun a bottle.
You can if you have a straw.
All right, let's say I feel like
you're an amateur, Keith. You can shotgun a bottle.
Jeremy, Darren, who wants to handle this one?
I'll start.
All right, let's hear it.
I'll start. I think the reason that I'm not your typical consumer when it comes to buying bottles and cans of BT, but basically the way I look at it is you have one to age and one to drink, and the bottle is going to be your aging vessel. The can is going to be your take with you. This is the one I'm going to drink now. This is the easy one. That's the convenience factor, right? That's what the consumer is saying. I want it in cans because it's convenient. The bottle is your storage vessel. The can is your drinking vessel. Now there's a lot of scientific things we can get into about what's a better aging vessel. But I think really it's a consumer issue of how you want to consume things. And Darren, you can add to that and please do.
Now, Jeremy, I think we share, as brewers, we share a similar sentiment, if you will, about this topic. at the end of the day, the only thing I'll say is that we're still learning a little bit about cans. If anyone else knows anyone putting a 20% stout in a can, I'm happy to talk to him and learn from him. I think that's one of the interesting things that we're doing right now is we are putting these beers in cans. And I think Jeremy hit it in that, we got feedback from our members and customers that said, hey, would you do this in a can? So we do a small amount of cans, and I think what it does is it adds a little purchasing advantage to our customers to be able to grab a can of BT, grab a couple bottles, put the bottles away, compare them to your other vintages, enjoy the can now, and have a little fun with it at a more approachable package. At the end of the day, I as a beer drinker, cans are beautiful, but as a beer historian and romantic, bottles are better.
All right, we got to keep moving. Great answer. I loved it. I hate to be the rusher of things. Brian has a great question. Brian, tee him up, and then I'm gonna pick one guy to answer. You have a minute and a half, and then we're moving on.
Hey, you gonna mute us,
Mike? Oh my goodness! All right. Here's what I want to ask you guys. Like, I mean, over all the years, all the years I've been a member, everything else, you guys have made so many Black Tuesday variants. Some that have been bottled and been released, other things one-offs for parties. So many blends. I think a lot of you guys that know, I've told you before, Melange 3, which is blended with Black Tuesday, is one of my favorite beers you guys have ever made. But of all the blends, of all these variants, it's Black Tuesday year 11. Like, how is it what is the process and to try to come up and figure out what the new variants are, what the new one-offs, what the new blends are? I mean, at this point, 11 years of doing this, how do you continue to reinvent and come up with new stuff that is just as awesome, if not more so, than the year previous?
That's a loaded one.
Look, you guys make the beer. I just drink it, like I said.
Yeah, I'd like to start by saying we're inspired by everything.
1 minute.
And Keith, why don't you take us from there?
On you, Keith.
What you do is you go down to the bayou, and you get some inspiration from all over the country.
So crawfish Black Tuesday is next, is what you're saying?
No, but close.
Being a little bit serious, I think that Jeremy's, again, I hate to keep throwing, but Jeremy's a good one to answer this. He kind of heads up our innovation and product development. Jeremy, Sour J, what do you got?
Yeah, so Keith is on the right path going down to the bayou. It's a journey, right? We're not making the same beer that Patrick and the other first handful of employees at the brewery made in 2008, 2009, 2010. New blood is definitely part of the key to that. Getting new folks in with new ideas, but it's also a change in time. The beer drinkers are changing; they're interested in other things. There's also influences in life. Whether the beer makers themselves, like myself or Darren or Andrew Bell, who just recently left the brewery to work on his own project. But these guys are going around and they're traveling and they're having new experiences, and all those experiences feed our creative energy. And I can't say more than this statement, and I haven't even thought of the statement I'm going to say, but the statement is something like this: that our life experiences that happen in our present day are going to manifest themselves into the beer that we make today. That's going to go into barrel and age out for a couple of years, and over that couple of years of time, that's where we're going to grab this inspiration and we're going to try things that we never tried before. And there's simple examples of that. The beer. Sweet Magnolias or whatever, that's a beer in the BT box this year, and when we were talking about creating that, I was very adamant that before we even constructed those flavors and played in that world, that is my mom's and my grandmother's banana cobbler. You know, it ain't a banana cobbler, but it's just an instant banana pudding with cut up old, like rotten bananas in it and vanilla wafers lined around the bowl, and it looks shitty. It looks like something you wouldn't want to eat. But I remember mowing that shit down when I was a kid. And how does that not work? How does that not work in a beer? You know, and with these types of beers. So I think it's the continual inspiration, the continual growth, and the fact is, Brian, you know, we've sat and we've filmed some things together, and I to quote myself, I told you can't put chocolate in every beer.
No, you can't.
You just can't, because if you do, you just make chocolate beer, you know. And we're not the chocolate brewery, we're the brewery, and we're gonna do different things all the time, and you know, who knows what that is. The next idea may come from here, you know. And we have a tagline that just came from this conversation right now with Darren saying this beer was designed for the barrel or whatever. I'll have to go back and look at how he said that and how I requoted it and told Daniel to take a note or go look at Daniel's notes. But anyway, point being, this inspiration, these things, some of these comments in here. I mean, we just did a beer with Moxa and Microphone Brewery, Three's Co. Company, that came from one of these virtual happy hours, and it was in the comments. You know, what are we going to do? And somebody mentioned the coconut cream pie, and, you know, so that's where the stuff comes from. So somebody's going to throw a comment in here right now, more than likely, and it's probably not going to be some of these clowns I'm seeing right here that are joking around, but somebody's going to throw a comment in there right now, and that's going to become a beer next year. I guarantee it. It's
Jeremy,
going to happen right now.
I was like, Jeremy, what I like what you said is that, like, you know, what I like is you using that analogy about, like, you know, your mom and your grandma, sort of like banana pudding. The idea that that's not just like randomly spinning a flavor wheel to come up with something new, but that you're bringing personal experience to it. And I think that sometimes helps to make it, you know, a better beer when you have a personal story and a personal experience behind it, because you're trying to replicate something that means something to you. And that's cool. I respect that.
Right. And by the way, just so everybody knows right away, when I say these clowns, I mean Victor Lester. I don't mean any of these. I don't mean any of these other guys.
I got to do it. We got to move on. Brian, Ian,
Victor,
Ethan, thank you guys so much for jumping on. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us, man. I really appreciate it too.
It was great having you here. Hopefully we can do it in the tasting rooms again soon. Have a party for real. Thanks for jumping on.
Cheers.
Val, kick them off. Let's cheers.
Absolutely. Go Nationals.
All right, so that was fun. We're gonna move on. Oh shit! Hold up, I'm getting a phone call.
Man, I'm so glad we haven't seen any police yet.
Hey Barry. Oh, her? You want her to come on? Oh, okay. I guess if we. Yeah, sure. Yeah, whatever you say. Okay. All right. Well. All right. So that was Barry. We have a next guest. Bring her on, Val. I think she's in the waiting room. So here we.
Oh.
Hey guys.
Hi.
So.
Thanks for inviting me.
Here's Maureen. Maureen is our head of HR. I guess we were having a little bit too much fun. Maureen, why don't you introduce yourself? Kind of tell us what you do at the brewery, what your favorite BT variant is, and then tell everybody what you're going to be doing from the rest of the night on this live stream.
Oh, nice. Okay. Well, yeah, I'm a director of HR here at the brewery. My job mainly consists of telling these guys that they need to maintain civility and be appropriate. No, just kidding. I have the pleasure of being able to hire and recruit for amazing talent like these guys here. We have an awesome staff, and we meet with all these guys are in charge of kind of building the culture there. So that's what I do. Right now I'm drinking, I don't know if I'm supposed to be drinking this yet or not, but it's the Liberty Scout Watch Fluffer Nutter.
I'm drinking it too.
Inspired. Okay,
yeah.
Good. So I'm not in trouble. And I love it. It's amazing.
Awesome.
What was your other question?
No, so I guess now Mo's going to be popping in and out, kind of giving us
Keep
guidance
an eye on it.
we shouldn't and should be doing.
Yeah.
But that being said, it's time to move on to the next section. So let's go ahead and do that. Val, I think take it away, man.
So we don't have a name for this beer. I read a blog post about how awful my day was. I didn't expect people really to read it, but it was kind of therapeutic writing about how bad of a day it was. And I say, I don't know what this beer is going to be named, but if you have any suggestions, please let me know. And an anonymous person writes, you should name it Black Tuesday. We brewed it on a Tuesday. It's black. That's a great name. Black Tuesday. That's what led to the Depression, or was one of the markers of the Great Depression. We were going through a similar economic crisis ourselves as a country. So I thought, having a $30 bottle that's aged in bourbon barrels for a year is the perfect thing to get over the Great Recession. So a lot of things just worked out. People who buy that bottle of Black Tuesday, very likely that bottle is going to be shared with 3, 4, 5, 6 friends. They're all going to have a new experience, and they're going to make a memory that will last a lifetime.
That was really nice. Thanks, Patrick.
That was well done. Well done.
Really well done. So now we're going to start talking about the second year of a box project. Pretty fantastic beers in this. Mo's drinking one of them. Mo, we're going to kick you off for a little bit while we talk about this beer. Take it away, Val. Run it. The BT box. Okay. Oh, Jeremy's. Love it.
Wow.
That gets me into it. Also, shout out to Justin at Beer Breath Co. Put together those videos for us. Fantastic videos.
Great videos.
Yeah, the content's amazing. So we got a few more guests we want to bring on. And let's do it. So first, we're going to bring on brewer, newer face to the brewery, talented guy, really great guy to be around, fun guy. Micah, why don't you step on in? How's it going? Tell us who you are, what you do, and let's have a beer together.
I definitely support having a beer together. That's for sure. Hey, everybody. Probably most of you don't know me. My name is Micah. I'm the lead brewer at the brewery and offshoot. It's been a super honor to be able to join this team, be a part of it, and now get to help kind of lead the way a little bit. Not quite as much as the other fellas here on the screen, but being a part of this team is incredible. So, yeah, I'm excited to be online with us now, too, because this is probably my favorite time of the year, and goodness knows that 2020 needs a little Black Tuesday.
Absolutely.
You got some shit on your hat, Micah. Oh, that's the Bears hat.
What's that?
Hey,
that's called dedication right there. Even after
Maureen's off.
We can pull her back on. Maureen, what do you got to say?
That was rough.
Okay, so next up, longtime face at the brewery. If you're a member, you probably know this guy. If you've ever been to the tasting room, you probably know this guy. We have the one, the only, Mr. Connor Coghill. Bring this guy on. He recently joined a biker gang, so he's got like the beard and the hair going on. Why don't you give us a little rev? Give us a little rev.
All right.
Connor, who are you? What do you do? Introduce yourself. Not that you need introduction, but give the people what they want.
Hey, I'm Connor. Run the website. Make sure all you guys can buy the beer you want to buy. Make sure Black Tuesday is available. Keep doing some sales planning, get you the archive beers you're looking for. Just keeping that stuff rolling. Yeah, all the fun stuff.
Too humble.
Very humble. He's very humble. But also, if you had any problems paying for your BT 2017 earlier today, please blame Connor. Website malfunction. I'm just kidding.
Daniel will handle that.
So we got one last person up right now. So new face to the brewery, but not a new face to the beer scene in SoCal and craft beer in general. New brewer, Lauren, come on, let's talk some beer. There we go. What's up, Lauren? Who are you? What do you do?
Hi, I'm Lo, or Lauren, and I do compliance. I'm the compliance specialist, so I make sure everything that these guys do is legit and can cross state lines.
Awesome. Well, that was a great intro. Thanks everybody for coming on. Let's get into it. So I think we want to not keep this short, but we all don't want to drink 4 different variants from this box. So everyone's going to open a different variant. In the comments, let us know what you're drinking right now. But let's pop some box beers, and then let's talk some box beers. So start things off. I think, man, I keep going to this guy. Well, actually, let's go to Connor. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what this box is, where it came from, why we're doing the box. What do you love about this box?
Yeah, I think the box is a great way to show off. Like you guys have talked about earlier, there's so many Black Tuesday variants that we've made over the years, and some of them are they're amazing, but they're hard to replicate in a full release type manner. They may not fit like our day of the week releases, so it's hard to kind of work those in. But I think that we kind of hit something last year. We piloted them out first with the hoarders boxes, and those seemed to go really well. People liked trying small batch projects they couldn't do another way. And so we did it with Black Tuesday and just kind of looked through the history of Black Tuesday and found some, really cool variants that we've done over the years, stuff that maybe it's our anniversary party or something we always do a special Black Tuesday variant for Firestone Walker Invitational. And so I think it was just a really fun way to reintroduce some of those classic variants that we've done in a way that's actually releasable, because some of these things, the adjuncts that go into them, you just can't repeat on a large scale batch. And so making a smaller batch and kind of putting all these bottles together was, I think, a fun project. Maybe a lot of work on the production guys and the packaging guys, but a fun project. And the beers so far have come out great. I'm actually double fisting right now. I've got Love at Midnight and Sweet Magnolias going. So these beers are great. They were great last year. There were a lot of great feedback. People loved the blueberry pancake. People hated the fact that we were putting a pineapple pepper beer in, and then it turned out to be everyone's favorite. So Spicy Island was a huge hit last year. Yeah, Spicy Island. So I think it's a lot of fun, and we can showcase like Love at Midnight, the pina colada beer. That was a huge hit at Firestone Walker last year when we won People's Choice again. So it's kind of a fun way to bring these beers that, maybe people hadn't tried before. I don't know how many people were at Firestone Walker. So, this is a chance to try a beer they never had.
It was likely hundreds of thousands of people.
Right, but they may not have all been our members.
Yeah, I remember hundreds of thousands.
So
I think you're exaggerating a bit, but yeah.
I want to talk about all these beers, but we just don't have time. So we're gonna do kind of a quick hitter. I'm gonna ask you what you're drinking, get some quick thoughts, and then I think I'd rather go to questions. Like, let's let the people ask what they want to ask about these beers. Give me 2 sentences on what you're drinking. We've put out videos. If you haven't gotten the tasting notes, go to youtube.com/The Bruery, where you're likely watching this. Click on the BT Box playlist, and Jeremy, Darren, Keith, all these guys will give you the tasting notes. But this is our time to interact, so let's focus on interacting. So Jeremy, what are you drinking?
I'll start. I'm drinking
so excited.
Yeah, well, I'm going to start because I'm drinking the Liberty Stout Witch, and I'm going to keep it to really quick time, and I'll pass it off to Darren because he's the expert at describing Liberty Stout Witch.
Yes, he is.
Was that the pass off?
That was the pass
off. Yeah, I thought it was. I mean, when I say I'm going to pass it off, I think that's a pass off. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, I apologize. I didn't catch that cue, but yes, I'm also drinking the Liberty Stout Witch. So this is the one that's based on Fluffernutter. I mean, I get marshmallow, peanut pops, and the vanilla, and all the bourbon and the oak on the Black Tuesday kind of finish off the flavor. But I think what's most important about this is really the inspiration. And I think that there's a video posted where I describe in depth the proper way, ingredients, recipe included, to make a fluffernutter sandwich, which is the inspiration for this beer. But at the end of the day, the main things I want to reiterate, and that doesn't necessarily translate to the ingredients used in this beer, but if you are trying to make a fluffernutter at home, you want, you're talking creamy peanut butter, Skippy, something like that, no chunks, white bread, and Kroger or whatever, whatever marshmallow spread that's going to stabilize at room temperature that you can get your hands on. That's what you want for fluffernutter. And a fluffernutter sandwich, you got peanut butter on one side, the marshmallow spread on the other, and you just bring it together, and it comes together beautifully, just like this beer has.
I think that was very eloquently said. If you haven't seen the Liberty Stoutwich video, I highly suggest going to YouTube, watching that video. It's fantastic. Darren gives some really quotable pieces in that video, so go watch it. Keith, what are you drinking? Your 2 sentences on it.
2, that's tough. Okay, Sweet Magnolias. That's what I'm drinking right now. So there was also a question earlier, or a comment, forget which one it was, from Terrence, that basically asked about like what temperature you should drink it at. Quite honestly, it's tough to say that because I think different flavors and aromatics come out at different temperatures. So we have a suggested temp of 55, but quite honestly, I'm drinking these room temp, and this one is absolutely amazing room temp. There's a ton of banana coming out. It's just really flavorful. It's fantastic.
Oh, that was concise, dude. I like that.
Try.
Micah, give us the rundown, dude.
So I've got the Love at Midnight here. This one's probably my personal favorite of this year's box because it's a really delicate process where you take the pineapple and you take the coconut and then you just put them together and then you've got this perfect pineapple and coconut. No, it's wonderful. Like the nose on this to me is just it's all pineapple. You get a lot of like a coconut in the flavor. Like it is the perfect pairing of 2 ingredients into an incredible beer.
Awesome, man. Connor, give us your 3 words. You're a man of few words. I know you can do it.
On Love at Midnight?
Yeah.
That was it.
I love Love at Midnight. There you go. I think it's great. I think one of the things that gets lost is, last year Spicy Island was supposed to be a pineapple forward beer. This is a pina colada beer. So I don't think the predominant flavor of pina colada is pineapple. So I love how strong the coconut is on it. I think it blends really well. I really like this beer. It's great.
I just want to add a note too, since we're talking about working with adjuncts and Spicy Island last year. Those habaneros got chopped on the brew desk next to the brew house while I was brewing, and I'll tell you, it definitely had a lot of spice before it even went into that beer.
I'll bet.
Yeah, I forget which beer it was, but speaking of adjuncts, I remember we were toasting coconut. I think it was probably for Spicy Island last year, and like the whole brew house, just like the aroma of the toasted coconut was just amazing. Like taking over
probably like We Heavy Coconuts or something.
It was something. Yeah, I don't remember which beer it was, but that was amazing.
Samoa. It was for the BT Samoa.
Too, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Lolo, tell us what you're drinking and what you think about it.
I have a 2018. Actually.
Oh, okay.
You're drinking it straight out of the bottle.
Right out the bottle.
I do have. I've been making a joke all day that I'm going to solo dome this, and it's getting pretty close. So. I do have a glass, but this is more fun. It's really nice. There's not too much heat left on it. It's perfect. The character is great. I know that they just went up for sale today, so I'm probably going to get a couple more. But it's fantastic. It's got a little chocolatey on it, and it's not too hot, but there's like some nice sweet after taste on the. And the mouthfeel is super clean. It ends really nicely. It's perfect.
You're gonna fit right in here.
Well, and I'll be outside.
Okay, I think
because I'm drinking out of the bottle, or
Maureen.
Maureen,
you're
bring her back on.
So let's get into questions. Here's a good question. This is an easy one because I don't think it's much higher than it is, but I can't answer that. So Young Lin asks, what's the highest ABV you think you can reach for Black Tuesday? I don't know that that's a goal we have in mind.
You can go higher. It just won't taste good.
Darren, give us your one sentence answer for this one.
Yeah, I mean, we've determined that we don't necessarily we want to make a consistent beer that people can depend on as Black Tuesday. We have pushed volume or alcohol volume on variants, and we do have plans to kind of push that on some one-offs. But Black Tuesday, it's not necessarily about an ABV goal. It's about making a delicious beer at that strength, which is kind of what we're doing now. And that being said, fed fermentations, I'll reference Sam Adams' Utopias, on a natural fermentation, if you will, unfortified, there is reference to breweries reaching about 26% ABV. No doubt in my mind that we could achieve that. We just don't want to right now.
Thanks. Okay, good answer. Let's pull up another question, Val. And so just before we answer this one, coming up next, we're going to be talking about the party pack, what everybody's interested in. We have founder Patrick Ruse joining us. Our good friend Brooke Williamson will be joining us. And then at the very end, if we can't get to all of your questions right now, we'll be answering questions at the very end. So stay tuned. Keep dropping questions. Val's doing a great job at reading all of them. Right, Val? And she's taking notes clearly and marking all the best ones. But let's keep going. So what's on store for upcoming variants? I would say, I don't know. Who wants to take this one? Raise your hand. Jeremy Grinke.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it. So let's just talk about what's coming up very, very quickly here. We have some variants in stylistic beer manner, if you will. And I just coined that term. Makes no sense, but ideally we have a couple beers coming up that I think we're feeling pretty good about. One of those beers in January is a still version of Black Tuesday, so a non-carbonated beer that's aged for over 3 years in French oak barrels, and I think it's going to be fairly fantastic. We also have a fantastic Black Tuesday variant, if you will, again in February. That's a port influenced beer that's different than the can that we have this month, way different actually. But those are kind of upcoming, along with some double barrel aged, really cool stuff for next year. Heard a lot of people tonight, especially tonight, talking about blueberry pancake. So we have a double barrel aged, really, really fun beer that's inspired by that. I don't want to say too much about it, but it's coming. And then we have a fun twist on Aloha Friday coming towards the end of the year in 2021 as well. That is going to be, it's going to be fire for sure.
I like that you just jumped straight to next year. You didn't want to talk about stuff coming out soon?
What are we talking about?
Well,
we got Grand Reserve coming.
Why don't you get on it, dude? Why don't you fill in the holes, huh?
There it is. Chocolate Rain may or may not be making a comeback. Grand Reserve. We got I think maybe a rum barrel aged. Yeah, Chocolate Rain with the crown. I don't know how to do that.
It's like this.
Chocolate Rain with the G.
I'm pretty sure that it's Chocolate Rain. That's how you have to say it, actually.
Well, I guess that's the difference between a production guy and a sales guy.
Oh, you're working on beers you're making.
Well, I live in the future. I'm in the future.
Time warp. Yeah. Let's keep going. People want to see us talk about the beers. Let's Val pull up one more question, then we're moving on. We got to do it. I'm sorry, but we have some really fun guests waiting for us right now. Val, bring it up. Any chance we'll get some? Whoa, I don't know what that is. Any chance we'll get some? So happy.
Maureen.
Matching some of these BT box variants. Push that back down now. So yeah, basically.
I don't know what that acronym means.
So happens this Tuesday variants.
We actually have a lot of so happens this Tuesday variants. We just don't normally name them that way. So there's a lot of beers coming up using so happens. You'll see it soon, and then a couple of really unique twists on it as well coming next year. I'm sorry, Connor, but it'll be next year when
we can talk about next year.
Some of those things.
I just didn't want to skip anything.
Yeah, some of those things are going to drop. We have a couple exciting things coming on the so happens, and I have to say too,
can you
this
close
is
your
this is a Black Tuesday talk as well, but I have to say that so happens this year. My God, that is a fantastic beer. I don't know if you all have tried it, but it is fantastic this year. So I have high hopes for some barrel variants and some other things that we're working on right now for so happens.
All right, thanks, Jeremy. Okay, I got to keep pushing us through. Thank you, Connor. Thank you, Micah. Thank you, Darren. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
We're gonna pull some people off, but before we do that, we're gonna watch Jeremy Grinke talk a little bit about our barrel program. So, Val, roll the tape.
Hey guys, I'm Jeremy Grinke, Director of Production here at the brewery. Quick little snippet here about our barrel program and Black Tuesday. 2020 Black Tuesday is a blend of barrels, and I know that we say on the back label, you'll read it that it's aged a year in bourbon barrels, and that is true. But there's a lot more that goes into it than that. I have struggled with saying this before in the past, but I no longer struggle with it. I think we just have to call it like it is, and I believe we are masters of barrel aging here at the brewery, and we take all of that mastering of the craft into our Black Tuesday beer. It's our largest release of the year as far as actual importance to the brand, and it's something we pride ourselves on, developing a beer to address the past and the successes, but also carry the beer forward and make it as good as we can make it every year. So a little bit of the theory that goes into that is we do age our Black Tuesday for a year in barrels, a year minimum. But that doesn't mean that there's not older beer blended into that as well. We want to not only age Black Tuesday for at least a year, but we want some barrels in there that have been aging for 2 years. If we have them and we have barrels that have aged for 3 years, we want to blend some of that in there as well. That brings and drives complexity. The other way we drive complexity here at the brewery is by using multiple different types of barrels from different distilleries and even different wood types and barrel types. So as an example, right here, I have a whole bunch of empty barrels that are sitting next to me. This is a current load we just got in, and this load is comprised of Buffalo Trace, Four Roses, and Heaven Hill. We also got some Weller in. All of those barrels and all of those barrel types are in this beer 2020 that we're drinking, as well as some different barrel types that we've gotten in, from the Basil Haydens to the Knob Creeks to going down the road to Scotch barrels and whatnot, rum barrels. So we tend to get our beer in as many types of barrels as we can. And then ultimately, it's our job as a production team and as blenders to isolate what we think flavors line up as and how we're going to use these different barrels in different projects. So there's a drive for conceptualization that happens early on, but that concept doesn't get put away at the last minute. As a matter of fact, it gets hyper focused on, and that's where the blending comes in. And that's our secret to making Black Tuesday the best that it can be every year. I'm really happy with the way 2020 has hit so far. I think it's a fantastic beer. I think it's not only fantastic on its own, but we've done some really great things with it this year as far as variants and variants.
Wow, thanks for that, Jeremy. That was great. I'm vibing on it. Before
I like that too.
into the last segment, let's talk about Black Tuesday again. We got Patrick talking about the history of it. Final piece of that segment. Run it, Val.
The intent was always to barrel age. Black Tuesday tends to be that, very strong beers do not taste very good right out of the fermenter. A lot of those alcohols will mellow with age. Bourbon barrels have this nice char to them. Since they char the barrels, that's activating carbon, which is actually removing some of the impurities, kind of cleaning up the flavor as well as adding in just new depths of flavor. When I tasted the beer, I thought it was delicious, but I didn't think it would translate into being a huge success. It's just too much alcohol. It's some would say it doesn't really taste like beer. It might taste like more like port than it does a beer. It's a very interesting beer, and I had no idea it would become the success that it is today.
That was fantastic. Wow. Thanks so much, Patrick. So this is it. This is the last segment. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to talk about the party box. So really interesting story about this box that we'll get into. Before we do that, we're going to bring on a few more people. I'm trying to think of who to start with. So let's start with Robert. Robert, longtime member, good friend of the brewery, another hoarder. What's up, Robert? Why don't you give us like a quick interesting story. So we met Robert at our first supper club. If you haven't been to a supper club, you probably aren't a big enough fan of the brewery yet. I don't want to say that, but they're invite only. Obviously, we're not doing them right now. But Robert, we met at a supper club. He's a great hoarder. Introduce yourself, Robert. How long have you been a member? What's your favorite Black Tuesday variant that we've put out so far?
Sure. I've been a member about 2 years now. Been a hoarder just for one of them. And really got to know the family, the brew family, from the supper dinners. And they've been awesome. And so I'm really looking forward to when we can restart those, of course. And I'm sure you guys were making those wine variants with Chef Brooke because of those dinners. At least I assume that's the inspiration. So I'm hoping to be able to try some of those wines paired with how they're intended to be done. So I think my favorite variant would be the Black Tuesday blueberry pancakes from last year's 2019 box. Pretty amazing, pretty awesome. Got one right here. So good. Of course, called really quickly behind Spicy Island. And I think I really like the You Want a Piece of Me this year. I really enjoyed the Black Tuesday Maple. Tweeted all about that. Love that. And so today I'm enjoying the double barrel aged maple syrup aged Black Tuesday, which just adds so much richness. It's awesome.
Hell yeah. Cool, man. Well, thanks for coming on. We're happy to share a beer with you. We're happy to talk about some beers. Let's bring back. I think Darren, his connection got lost, but let's bring back Brew Moser, man. You can't have a finale without Brew Moser.
You cannot.
How's it going, Darren?
Hi.
Virtual fist bump. Good to see you. And now the man of the hour. Let's bring on Mr. Patrick Brew. Welcome back.
Oh.
What's up, Patrick?
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Patrick.
Hey, Pat.
Cheers. Happy Black Tuesday.
Happy Black Tuesday.
Happy Black Tuesday.
Sorry for my my audio is awful, my video is awful, but my liver's awful too. So I'm having a good time here.
Bring Maureen back on.
First thing that comes to mind is that beard is a long way from the old tuxedo.
Yeah, no, the power's been out of my house for 3 days now, so I'm without shower. I'm disgusting. Thank God you don't have to smell me. And just smelling the boozy.
Finally, Pat, you finally made it. You look like a winemaker. You smell like one, probably too. Look at that. You got a farmer cap on. Like God, you did it, dude. You did it. That's amazing. Fantastic. Love it.
Patrick, why don't you let's start off. Just tell us what you've been up to lately, man. For those who don't know, give us a little rundown on what you've been up to, what's going on up there in Napa, and then let's start drinking some Black Tuesday.
Cool. Sounds good. Yeah, I've been making wine for a little bit. I have a new winery called Erosion. We have these. So it's all canned wine. Kind of what would a brewer do in Napa Valley is the question I'm trying to answer. So having fun, doing a lot of weird stuff, getting sideways looks from neighbors, but I think everybody's appreciating kind of a new approach. We're doing everything canned. We're adding things like cacao nibs and vanilla to wine, and this is kind of one of my favorite places in the world for wine. So I thought, why not be here and try to do something. So we also have a new brand. I don't know if this is probably coming out backwards for you guys, but it's Crude. So still getting my last name into things.
Flip it over. Flip it over. There you go.
There it is.
Yeah, so this is a really fun brand. It's Napa Valley Red Blend. This first one is 69% cab and just drinks like a massive big red wine. This is kind of anyway. Pretty fun stuff. Has old childhood photos. That's Rachel, my wife, on there. There's an old prom photo of Rachel and I. Sorry, I don't know why I'm showing you photos, but there we go.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
The TMI brand.
My daughter Charlotte on here too. Yeah, she lost her when she lost one of her teeth, so she has a super bloody mouth. Anyway, it's super punk. It's like family punk.
It's awesome.
So crude.
Thanks, Patrick. So I was just told, finale, we got to bring on HR. So I guess welcome Mo.
Back to the party.
Yeah, just got to check. So welcome back, Mo. And then this is going to be a big one. And then so last but not least, we have our good friend just back from Portland, I believe. Brooke. What's up, Brooke? How's it going? Back in LA.
Hey.
It's good to see you. So we got a lot of people on. So I think this platform we use just allowed us to add 3 more people. We used to be maxed at 6, and we're just like, let's just do the most we can. Bring on 9.
We're full on Brady Bunch now.
Full Brady Bunch. Yeah, we can do the whole pointing and that thing. But Brooke, why don't you kind of give us for those who don't know you, we have a lot of guys watching right now, a lot of fans watching. We've done a few collabs with Brooke over the years. Kind of give us a run through of what you've been up to, what's new, how life's been treating you.
Wow, that's a loaded question. First of all, open my beer.
Yeah.
To the game, I was actually shooting a show all day. And
cheers.
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 Everybody cheers. Tell us what you're drinking in the comments.
I'm drinking the Black Tuesday because I got it in the mail today. And I have had a few in the last few days because you guys were kind enough to send a care package to me in Portland, which have you noticed how many legs that care package has grown?
There have been quite a few
So I was actually, I've been in Portland shooting. I've been judging Top Chef for the last almost month. Actually, a week of it was I was literally sitting in a hotel room doing like virtual workouts because I couldn't leave. But then for 2 weeks I was shooting, and you guys were kind enough to send me a box of beer, and there were several brewery fans that I was shooting with who were very excited. Actually, there was a reality sort of scene where we went to the chefs. There were only 3 chefs remaining. We went to their house and cooked them dinner before the finale. And I brought over my trio of beers. They were very excited to try that. Anyway, yeah, so got back like 2 or 3 days ago from Portland. Sorry the Dodgers are on. If that's distracting, I'm not going to turn it off.
Jeremy's got him on too.
I got it on too. Yeah, I'm good. I'm
we have
watching
the live ticker also, so we're fans of
Anyway, so we've been drinking brewery beers for a few days now, and then I was not able to finish all of those beers because you sent a few. and I left some behind for all the people who were very excited to be drinking them. And so now we see them popping up on. There are new people quarantining now because there's a whole nother show being shot now, and there are new people quarantining and like posting about drinking 19% beers in their quarantine room and thriving, living their quarantine lives.
Fantastic.
So yeah, I've been trying to figure out how to keep our last restaurant afloat and shooting TV shows because that's happening again. So that's it. Hey, someone just said I love this place. Thank you guys. That's fun.
Yeah, it's
oh,
very
Nan,
good.
big brewery fan. Shout out, Nan. We're fans of you as well, fans of Connor. Thanks for coming on, Brooke. So this is a pretty special pack we're drinking right now. So as you guys all know that are watching, we usually do a big release party. Last year, we tried to kick it up a notch. We did a whole weekend event. So we did a brunch. We did a Friday night talks at Terreux. We did a whole weekend. This year, obviously, things are a little bit different. Can't get into that. Couldn't do anything in person, but we still wanted to celebrate with everybody. So we kind of, I would say under the emphasis of Sour J, Jeremy, we made a pivot and we decided let's get something together so we can party with you guys. And that's what this box is. It's really just a chance for us to share some of our fun things we had in store that we kind of for a second thought we wouldn't be able to share with everybody. And now look where we are. We have 9 people on a screen like the Brady Bunch. We're drinking a box of beers. Brooke and Patrick are here. Mo's got her headband on. It's a party. I would say this is a party. So
it's a party.
Let's talk about, I kind of just want to get into it. Let's talk about where did this project come from? What is this? And nobody better than probably Sour J, and then maybe hand it over to Darren. And like, what is this project? How did this come to fruition?
Well, I think let's lay it out really quick, and then let's find out what people are drinking and get some notes on those beers. For myself, I'm drinking the North American Port can. Basically, we've been doing this thing called the Hoarder's Box for the last 3 years. And we've made some really fantastic beers through that have really been pilots for testing with our membership group and then taking those beers that were really well received and scaling those beers up to be releases as the years have gone by. And we've had some great successes with that and some failures in that box too. And I'll tell you, if you're trying to push the limits, like if you can get to 50% success rate, 50% failure, you're probably doing pretty well. I think we've seen a little bit higher than that. But the thing is, with those boxes, especially over the last year, I don't want to say we're running out of ideas, but I felt like there was ideas that were too easy, too simple. And that's the beers we have now. In other words, like they were too simple. It was like, hey, we have these vanilla extract barrels that have been aging for 3.5 years. Should we put those into the Hoarder's Box? And I was saying, like, no, we shouldn't put that in the Hoarder's Box. That doesn't make sense. We have a better use for that. And then we have the same thing with the maple. We have two cans in this pack that were double barrel aged. They saw about 6 months in bourbon before they went into maple syrup barrels and before they went into vanilla extract barrels. And by the time we canned them, they were aged 4 years. We also had a North American port barrel thing that was going on for 4 years. It had never been double barrel aged. It was just living in a barrel for 4 years. And I'm looking at these things thinking, let's not pull the trigger right now. Let's wait for the right time to pull the trigger. And granted, I might have long hair and a beard or whatnot, but I'm not Rasputin. I don't know what's coming. I didn't know COVID was coming. But I didn't know that our party was going to be canceled or we weren't going to be able to have it. But I did know that when we weren't able to have the party, that we had these cards in the deck that we could still deal out here. And that's what these 3 beers are. They're basically an exercise in aging. They're super aged beers. All 3 of these beers are 3.5 years old at the minimum. 2 of them have been double barrel aged. They saw 6 months in bourbon, 3 years in the double barrel. So 3 years in maple, 3 years in vanilla extract. And then the third beer, that North American port, saw 4 years in that North American port barrel. And I think personally, to tell you the beer I'm drinking the North American port. To drink a Black Tuesday beer that's been aged 4 years in barrels is quite different than anything we've ever put out, in my understanding. And Patrick, correct me if I'm wrong, but the agedness of this beer is what makes it magical to me. And to me, it's also a place in beer that I've never stepped in as a producer. I made wine in the past, and in wine, it's not so crazy to age something that long, but in beer, it's a different thing. Patrick, I know that we have Charlotte's project that's aging, 10 plus years now, and tasting like nothing that anybody's ever tasted before. But to taste something that's this round and this finish for this age is truly a mind f, really. I mean, to try to take in oxidation and understand what that is and how that could affect a beer negatively, and then see the positive effects of that as it comes out is pretty remarkable. So all that said, that's my speech on the project in general. But I'm drinking the North American port, and I think it's really fantastic.
Awesome, dude. So I kind of want to just I think it's the same thing. Like, this is about you guys watching. I would rather take questions. Let's interact. So I'll go around really quickly. Give me what are you drinking? Your two sentence like take on it. But then let's get to questions. Like, there are a lot of questions popping up, and everybody watching, this is your chance. Like, just ask whatever you want. It doesn't have to be about the beers, although we're here to talk about the beers. But if you have questions about what we're up to, what's going on, just ask them. This is the time. So we're gonna start with I'm gonna go in kind of a random order this time. So no pressure, but Mo, what are you drinking? What are your 2 sentences on it?
I started drinking the port after Jeremy was explaining how amazing it was, and I'm a big port girl, and this is amazing. Like, you taste the port, you taste like the complexity, and you don't like the heat. It's so smooth. It's awesome.
It's awesome. I love it. I love that.
Good
Thanks
job.
for the input. Next up, let's
Can
go.
I tag off of that real quick, Daniel?
Yeah.
Sorry. Just because I'm drinking the same thing too. I just happen to be drinking the same beer, but I do remember tasting this with Jeremy and someone else probably about 2.5, 3 years ago, and it was fantastic then. And honestly, it's so much more port forward now. It's
so good.
It's so good, and it's just exciting to see that what age has done for it, like Jeremy was saying. But yeah, I remember tasting that beer. It was good then. It's really great now.
Awesome, man. So 2 ports. Let's go over to Darren. Darren's having a sip right now, a little sniff.
So I just, I'll be honest, I was actually going to go for the port, but I had time to call an audible based on all that feedback, and I went with the beer that's finished in maple syrup barrels. So give me a moment. I'm going to take a look at this.
Go take a look at it, and I'm not a
Cicerone, FYI.
This is real time, people.
Take a minute to taste it,
This
and
is what brewers look like when they're trying barrels.
And I'll just say that normally when you use a term like finished in, what that really means is that you've aged in an alternative barrel and you finished in the secondary barrel. The way that this is flipped a little bit for this double barrel aging is that it's been a very, very short amount of time in a bourbon barrel, and yet 3 years in that finishing barrel. So it had all of that time to soak, had all that time to oxidize, had all that time to evaporate, all of that time to concentrate. All those flavors are indicative of this project and of these 4 barrels that were aged, as opposed to the Black Tuesday maple that we just released that was actually fed maple syrup and aged in maple barrels. Completely different thing. So think about, when you think about these beers, think about like beers that are as I said earlier, an exercise and extended aging. What does that mean? What is the oxidation that's happening? Why is that oxidation really bad for beer? And then also, can you go past that? Can you push a little bit past that? Can oxidation actually do something that's indicative of creating a new beer, and what that looks like in comparison to other beers that we release? So sorry.
Yeah. I mean, you nailed it, Jeremy. But I guess what I would say is, like, looking at this beer, this is really it's a Black Tuesday Reserve finished in maple barrels. You know, if we want to use that
correct
kind of terminology, and it does stand out to me from Black Tuesday Maple, and that was actually a question. I don't know where it came up, if it came up in comments or if it came up, at some point earlier. But this beer is different than Black Tuesday Maple, which was released earlier, and it comes off that way. I get a ton of just maple aroma, but not that same sweetness on the flavor. Great beer. So
we have to think too, and I mean, as producers, I think we know that how our alcohol pickup works, how barrels affect our beer going into the barrels. When a beer goes into a bourbon barrel for 6 months to 8 months or so, you're going to pick up a certain amount of ABV. The ABV that's listed on that label at 20.5 or whatever it is isn't indicative of 6 months of bourbon barrel aging. What it is indicative of is 4 years of aging over time and evaporation. And
sure.
I think that's where these beers, like the concentrated flavors, are really interesting, and that's kind of the agedness that I'm talking about. And you think about that too. It's a maple syrup barrel isn't adding any alcohol. There's no alcohol to pick up whatsoever. It's just sugar. So that agedness is where the concentration is happening.
Yeah. The only other thing that I'd like to add while I have the stage, and I know Daniel is, the time whipper up here, but at the end of the day, I would just like to say, like, Jeremy is really, at the end of the day, the person that made some of these beers happen. He saw the vision in the cellar. Jeremy is, Sour Jesus is not Sour Jesus anymore. He's really heading up a lot of everything we do with wood and wood aging and seeing that vision. So the fact that we were able to pull these Black Tuesday variants together, from different barrels, and really kind of see those opportunities and make a party out of what was not going to be a party. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Can we call you Sweet and Sour Jesus?
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's Patrick Brewer for the win.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever worked with Madeira barrels?
We've worked with Madeira barrels a few times, but also Madeira barrels.
We spelled it wrong. We spelled it wrong on a paper.
Are you serious?
We're peeling some labels right now that we spelled wrong. But yes, actually, Brooke, we have this same beer, this Black Tuesday base beer. We have some Madeira barrel aged beer coming out, I think around April or May of next year. That should showcase some of that Madeira character pretty well. On that note, like if I could shift this just a second, because I think, Brooke, you might have the most insight into this. Where we have this vanilla extract barrel. So we one of these beers is aged in bourbon for 6 months and then put into vanilla extract barrel for 3 years. And that vanilla extract, I know a lot of us will buy vanilla extract that says bourbon vanilla extract, but that's really high end vanilla extract that actually is aged in previously used bourbon barrels. And I think that is something that maybe you might understand more so than a lot of other people is like what that value of like the bourbon aged vanilla extract is. And I'm curious, I don't know what beer you opened first of the cans.
I have the port. Actually didn't even realize they were all different. I was like,
Oh yeah.
You just so stoked, guys. You're just ready to pop up.
You were like, which one are you drinking? I was like, I'm drinking the Black Tuesday, guys.
Yeah. Well, I have to tell you this. I've only been with the brewery almost 6 years now, but Patrick hired me, and he never told me this, but it's a brand built on confusion. And that basically is like, you gotta you're always guessing. But that's our thing. We confused a little bit. So we gave you 6 cans, very similar labels, hard to tell apart. We call it all the same name. But do me a favor if you can. I'd love to see you try that vanilla barrel if you get a chance.
Like right now?
Vanilla, crack it. Let's go.
I love Jeremy's interview question too. Is how long will it take you to become the brewery?
The brewery.
That is
because it's not. It's a thing. Like you have to.
While Brooke is pouring that, I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna say, Robert, what are you drinking? Give us your 2 sentences on it. Brooke has to like give it the swirl, give it the taste. Give it the nose. Yeah. We need the full sensory analysis. But Robert, what are you drinking? What's going on over there, man?
So like there, I'm drinking the Black Tuesday aged in the maple barrels, and I mean it's amazing. I actually asked him earlier about what was the difference between the Black Tuesday maple and this one, having not even tried this one yet. And I mean, just opening up the first taste, I wish I could have the first taste for every taste. It was so unique, and it just like reminds me of port sherry. It's just such a different, like there's so much richness in this. I mean, what it is adding is a lot of sweetness, sure, but I really love that. You guys, when you talked about Black Tuesday maple adding, you know how you kind of discovered by adding that maple in some of the Black Tuesdays, it added a lot of people got like that. This is amazing. I really love. I wouldn't even say it tastes a whole lot like maple. It just adds a lot of sweetness that I really enjoy. I just can't get enough of this. I'm almost like regretting that I opened up this one because now I only have one more can.
Well, I would have to say that the limit, I think we refreshed your limits, so you can actually buy one more box. So go back to thebrewery.com/allocations, buy your second box. It's true. 2 cans aren't enough. You need 4. 100%. Patrick's drinking his like he's living up in Napa, drinking wine. Patrick, what are you drinking, man? What is that? That's like a Napa cab glass right there. What's going on, dude?
You got to tilt way too far back, but it's good for the arm muscles, though.
Yeah.
I'm drinking the maple barrel, which is great. I don't know, that burnt caramel taste is so much more pronounced on this one versus the other ones, and lends a little bit of sweetness, but not a whole lot, and a little bit more viscosity. Super delicious, love it. But they're all awesome. I actually have I have all 3 of them plus a can of Black Tuesday open in front of me. So I keep kind of switching back and forth. You might notice me dumping out maybe like half an ounce. Not wasting much. I will probably drink my dump cup. It's all that good.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, the swamp tank is always good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pat. Let's move on.
I just want to say, sorry, Daniel. I just want to say, Darren's really nice. Shout out to Jeremy. This is what actually happens at Black Tuesday parties, is that I love you, man sort of moment. Yeah, I love seeing that.
Yeah. Pat, what do you think about just the base 2020 beer? Because we did a whole thing on it earlier, but I think it's fairly remarkable, personally.
Definitely. Let me switch over to that one. I've been drinking it a few times, but yeah, it smells awesome. Definitely seems a little bit more like aged, a little bit more round than last year was great too. I would say there's a few years there, back, maybe the 2013s, 2014s. They're a little bit like a little strong initially, and then needed some age to mellow out. Where this one's really drinkable early on, and I think you guys have been doing that recently. So
yeah, no, I was thinking that today. We were talking about that earlier, where I think it's like one of those things where I'm like, you're telling me this thing is 19% alcohol? Like, I'm not tasting it.
Yeah,
it's good.
Our new QA manager, Dustin McCammon, he put it in the. He put 2020 Black Tuesday in the back end of the sensory today because it was Black Tuesday, even though we tasted it 3 or 4 weeks ago. And Jeremy said, are you kidding me right now? Like, is this just smooth? And I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good.
All right, I got to do it.
That explains your behavior the rest of the day.
I'm gonna move back to
get out of here.
Okay, Darren, I'm gonna mute you. Brooke, you just opened that one. You got to tell us what you think.
Yeah.
And after Brooke gives us her answer, we're going into a free frenzy of just questions. We got a lot of questions. They're not all about beer. They want to know what kind of motorcycle Jeremy rode in on today, what Patrick's playlist is. So we're gonna answer a lot of questions, but first let's start with Brooke. Brooke, give us your tastemaker opinion.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm really shocked that this is higher in alcohol than the port barrel aged one. There's this like fresh, sort of light, bright quality to this. I mean, granted, I started with something aged in a port barrel, but I don't taste the alcohol in this. And there's this like really beautiful sort of nostalgic familiarity with the vanilla bean, right? Like port to me is very specific. Maple to me is very specific. But I think vanilla bean is something that everyone can identify with, whether or not they even really know it. I think oftentimes vanilla is added to things without you even knowing it, right? Like chocolate chip cookies. Most chocolate chip cookies have vanilla in it or in them, and you don't even realize that, especially vanilla extract, which is a very different flavor than vanilla bean to me. And I think it's the perfect match for this because the beer kind of can stand up to it, but it's highlighted, but only if you really taste it next to the others, right? Like this to me is very specific to vanilla extract, but I don't know that would be immediately identifiable by someone. I feel like this to me just feels familiar and like warm and comforting, rather than in your face, like this is what I was aged in.
No, totally. Think about that on the aromatic spectrum versus the taste. Like, do you smell vanilla?
Oh, totally. I mean, I smelled it the moment I opened the can.
But in comparison to the taste?
Oh God, no! I smell it. I probably smell it more than I taste it.
Okay. Yeah.
You feel the opposite?
I do, actually. Yeah, I totally do. Aromatically, like I think it's there, and it's like the hint of it. But then when you taste it, you're like, holy shit! There's a shit ton of vanilla in there. That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
I feel like you could open a can of this and like show a house to someone and they would buy it immediately. Like a broker bakes cookies. Like
right.
This should be
real estate agents.
So what temperature are you drinking this beer at, Brooke? Because I'm drinking it kind of room temp.
Oh damn, Keith is here.
Well, no, because I agree that I think aromatically when it's basically room temp, and I agree with Jeremy the other day when we drank it colder, but I'm drinking it a lot warmer.
Yeah, so that's fair. Like I said, I just got home a little while ago and I didn't have time to refrigerate them properly. And nor do I feel like this needs to be a cold beer. No. And probably I'm getting a lot more aroma than you would if I were to be drinking it cold. I
actually think one of the beautiful. Sorry, Keith.
No, you're good.
I was gonna say, like, Black Tuesday, which is really the beer we're talking about, transcends some of those like beer temperature and wine temperature. I guess, those parameters that you would expect for a beer don't apply to Black Tuesday. and they don't apply to where our customers like to drink it at. I see a lot of members saying they like Black Tuesday the next day when it's flattened out a little bit, or at room temperature or cold. You know, it is a unique beer, and it's a versatile beer. I personally like it at wine temperature, but that's not everybody.
Apparently, it's
Sorry.
it's somebody.
The lawyers.
Finally.
Yeah, we finally got a run in. Tied.
I think it's time. I think we should move on to open question forum. So we have a lot of questions coming in. Some of them are about the beers. Some of them are just about anything. So here's a really good one. Let's start with this one. It just came in. Oh, there you go. Chef Brooke, when is your next show? Nan Coghill. She's a big fan.
What?
Jeez, man.
Man. What's the question?
When is your next show? I think she's asking when is the show airing, or if it hasn't aired.
Yeah, so what I was shooting last week was Top Chef in Portland, which I believe will probably air around March. I was also shooting today an episode of Supermarket Stakeout, which is on Food Network, and I think that'll probably air in March too. So there's like lots of production that's kind of just ramping up again, but definitely things won't air until next year.
I have a question for Brooke.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do with that Dodge truck? The Guy Fieri truck. Are you going to save it for a Hudson, or what? Is that his truck, or is that your truck?
Guys, don't.
What's up with that truck?
Don't tell anybody.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Brooke, what would you add to make your own Black Tuesday variant?
That truck was badass. I saw it.
Yeah, it was a pretty badass truck.
Yeah, badass.
What would I add to a Black Tuesday? God, I don't know. That's tough. I feel like I could go like obvious and say like, I don't know, I would add time to this, but then I feel like that would be very similar to something that we've done before. I actually almost want to go in like an apricot direction, like a dried apricot. I feel like would go really nicely in this, and honestly, specifically the vanilla one, because I feel like there are notes of sort of dried fruit, but also like. Strangely, I feel like it's a really sort of light, approachable beer for what it is. Hold on, I lost it.
What about Girl Grey Monday?
Okay, can I get a show of hands in the comments here? Girl Grey Monday. Can I get a show of hands from everyone who wants to bring back Girl Grey? Because I gotta say, I have heard from more than one person that it was one of their favorite beers, including mine. So
Yeah, I'm down.
Lobby to bring it back.
I'm down.
Okay, so
You're never going to talk to me again.
we're gonna add that to the line plan for 2021. I'm just doing that right now. Sorry, guys. All right, next question. Jonathan Taylor is asking, what's the ABV of Black Tuesday before it goes into the barrel on average? On average, how much ABV does the barrel contribute? So basically, like
That's a low question. That's a low question for the video feed.
It goes in the barrel at 17.5%, and depending on the average one,
the same percent.
She's our
No,
compliance
that's the
specialist.
compliance answer. The barrel aging process, technically.
Correct.
It's all evaporation.
Exactly. Well, that's why I was.
None of those.
Exactly. That's why I was talking about extended aging and evaporation of the water content, the concentrations that happen. Exactly.
well, yeah,
Exactly.
sure.
Yeah.
There's
The funny thing. The funny thing is
an accommodated fortification by the TTB, and
yeah,
they know what we're doing.
The funny thing is that is actually true, and it's proven. And I can prove it with analytics that say that something has been in the barrel for 6 months and something has been in the barrel for 36 months will have a different ABV, even if they go in at the same ABV. Part of that is soak. Part of that is evaporation, for sure.
People think that brewers are brewers. They're not. They're scientists. So
Well, you know, and then some of them are fartists.
So you're that too.
What you got?
You're muted. He's muted.
I was just saying this was a great show. I'm gonna keep us moving. This is fine. When you're not drinking, we're gonna do 3 more questions. When you're not drinking beer, what is your favorite alcoholic beverage to imbibe in? Jeremy, start first.
We're not drinking beer?
Yeah, no beer.
White wine, and then bourbon, and then red wine. In that order. On Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. Basically in that order. That's how it goes.
Keith, give us your one beer. What are you drinking? What are you drinking that's not beer?
Wine with chocolate and vanilla.
Well played. Well played.
Darren Moser hit it.
I drink brewery beers. I'm a company man. I want to know what our beers taste like. But I also like old fashioned.
When you're not drinking beer. Okay, old fashions.
Old fashions.
Okay, yeah. Robert, hit it.
It's the old fashioned.
Oh, old fashions.
What else?
Okay. Lo, what are you drinking?
Vermouth. Spanish vermouth. All day.
Fancy.
Patrick, adjuncted wine. Okay, no, I'm just kidding. Patrick, what are you drinking, man?
Well, it'd be red wine, and then I'll just like mezcal is like I've never had a bad hangover drinking mezcal. One of you guys should challenge me on that one.
Challenge.
But
Let the people
challenge
know.
accepted.
Pretty good after
Challenge
mezcal.
accepted.
I'm holy about it.
Jeremy and I are in.
Yeah, we're coming. We're coming for you.
All right, Mo, give us your quick. What are you drinking when it's not beer?
I'm a wino, big wino. And lately, this is a shameless plug, but lately I've been drinking Erosion, and it's phenomenal. The big red or is big something big red, and it's
how big?
It's been awesome.
Thanks, Maureen.
Big crude.
Love you.
It's a big recommendation from Maureen. Brooke, what's your go-to when it's not a triple?
Tequila, and then bourbon. If I'm on an airplane, it's always gin for some reason, but that's really the only time I drink gin. But I'm on an airplane generally a lot. I can keep going, but I would say tequila and then bourbon and then red wine, and I'll stop there.
Okay, I'm we're gonna go around, do one last question, and then it's getting late. Everybody's got to go to sleep. There's work tomorrow. So let's do the same thing. We've all probably had a lot of time on our hands, a little bit more than lately, maybe some not as much as others, but give me your, what's when you pull up your Spotify playlist, like what's number one? What's bumping right now? What's popping off? I know Keith has Whitney Houston, just like
Mariah Carey this week, dude.
But Jeremy, what's number one on your playlist, man?
For this week?
For the last month. Like if you just pull up your top.
The National.
The National. Oh, wow. Can you sing it for us?
No.
Okay. Keith.
Is it me now?
Yeah.
Mariah Carey right now. Mariah Carey right now, because Damien.
Can you sing it?
No.
Oh.
Damien at Terreux is telling me that Mariah is better than Whitney. I don't necessarily believe it.
Get the fuck out.
Well, we can talk to him about it tomorrow.
Well, she's still alive. That's the only way she's better.
I would sit him down.
Yeah.
Okay, Lauren, what's going on in your world, man? What are you listening to?
I've got a good weird mix between like Van Morrison and Still Boozy.
So I asked.
Hold on.
I asked for a song. Just give me the
What,
song.
what year of Van Morrison?
Ah.
Oh, sorry, dude.
Oh,
Get out of
Ashley.
here.
Ashley. What is that? 76?
Yeah. Check out his Montreux shows. Montreux Jazz Fest, 1980. It's the best. The best. Van Morrison. It's the best.
Oh my gosh.
All right, Robert. Robert, what are you listening to?
I'm listening to Taylor Swift's Folklore.
Oh, that's a good one. Oh,
Who's
yeah.
that?
Taylor Swift. Okay. Darren, what are you listening to?
Darren is.
Jerry Jeff Walker. He died this past weekend at 78.
Yeah. Up against a red wall. Sorry.
Up against a red wall, motherfucker.
Yep.
It didn't go like that, but something like that.
Patrick Rue, man. What when you're just like when you're making wine, what's going on in the winery, dude?
First off, I want to say the beers were delicious, but that food truck line was bullshit. Fix that. I mean, like, how hard is it to park more food trucks in here? Come on. Sad to say.
I don't even know what's going on.
Boy, you know what? I don't even get to pick my own music. I listen to whatever anybody around me is listening to. So it's often like awful techno or mariachi music. Is actually enjoy that a bit more. But if I get to choose, it's CNN. I'm just waiting for this world to end. That's what I want.
All right, Maureen, probably some sort of like swing or big band song, just judging from your outfit.
Really? No, I actually get down on some gangster rap, but I can't play that in my office because I feel like pushed. So it's been Cody Johnson, my go-to country music star.
Nice.
Love it.
No gangster rap in the HR office?
Once
Fair enough.
once I'm in the car, I'm like total gangster rap the whole way.
And Brooke. Brooke, what are you listening to? What's on your playlist?
That's a really big question for me because I'm a big music person. But I like literally put my playlists on shuffle, and I have a lot of like indie music, like I don't know, like Ryan and well, I'm like all over the map. So I have like Post Malone because my son was like really into Post Malone for a while and it caught on. And then, but like there's Wham on my playlist, and there's Justin Bieber, and there's like Lizzo, and so I'm like really. But I've also got some like a little bit of like let's see here. What was the last thing I listened to? Casey Musgraves was the last thing I listened to.
A little country music. Okay.
Well, I mean, like a little.
Yeah, it's like country-ish. That's
literally all over the map.
Yeah, no, I like that. So I would like to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Everybody had a lot of Black Tuesday. So we're gonna go ahead and call this an evening. It was a great show. Thanks everyone for joining us. There's still a lot of beers on tap at the tasting room. Members, your beers are available through the end of the month. Non-members, you have, I don't know if it's sold out yet. I haven't looked, but if it hasn't, you have a few hours left to buy some Black Tuesday. Thanks for joining us. And thanks everybody. Thanks Brooke. Thanks Patrick. Thanks brewers. Thanks members. It was really fun. Cheers. Let's all do it. Cheers. And we will we'll see you tomorrow. Yeah.
Shout out to Dave Jankowski. See you tomorrow.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, guys. Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Everyone.